Oh, we're back, baby. We're back in the studio, the command center, and oh, do I have something that is going to be amazing for you to watch. This is a live filleting of the gun violence director in the Office of Gun Violence Prevention by Josh Hawley, because it turns out all the far left extremism that they push through defund the police through the Office of Gun Violence Prevention under the Biden White House is coming back with a vengeance to kick them right in the balls. You guys are going to enjoy every second of this. It's linked in the description box below. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on because we are about to explore how we're going to continue winning because it's our job. All right, let's get into this, people. We got to talk about some amazing stuff. God, it's good to be back. And this is a great return. All right, you can follow me on Braden, on X at BradenLOA if you'd like, but let's dive right in. I'm not going to bury the lead on you. So I got to tell you some backstory here really quickly because there's a lot of people who have joined the channel and the subscriptions in the last month. So let me bring you into what this guy is. During the Biden administration, there was an Office of Gun Violence Prevention that was opened up. It worked right under Kamala Harris, who was in charge of it. It was their attempt to give her a responsibility to then become president, which that worked out. And then it was under the Biden administration, of course. Now, the guy that you're looking is one of the co-directors of the Office of Gun Violence Prevention. It was this guy, Gregory Jackson, and another guy named Wilcox. Okay, what they effectively did was they ran a centralized point of contact for the gun controllers to infiltrate into the White House and then orchestrate all the gun control pushes nationwide. Now, why that's important for the broad-based politic is it shows you what they were doing to all of the rights, whether it's Second Amendment, First Amendment, whether it was related to immigration, whether it's related to crime, whether it was related to defunding the police, because they went too far. I said this in the videos that we covered when they did this. Let me hear you in the comments if you remember when I was talking about this. The defunding of the police did something to the psyche of the population. You defunded the police, and then you used the chaos that ensued from your decisions to then take rights from people. That's what occurred and transpired. You're about to watch a live filleting from Josh Hawley in the Senate. But before I do, let me show you what literally rolls as a hype video for all the things that we destroyed on the gun control front in the last 9 months. Listen to this.
Instead of federal resources to strengthen what works, the Trump administration has dismantled and defunded bipartisan strategies passed into law to reduce violence. They shut down the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. They've defunded federal law enforcement, including the ATF. They've terminated $1 billion in mental health resources. They've terminated $812 million to community-led violence intervention programs. They defunded gun violence research in the CDC Firearm Injury Prevention Center. And they dismantled important regulations like the zero-tolerance policy for gun dealers. Instead of federal...
Now, again, that's just like a hype A-list, B-roll, like an absolute hype list video for us. Yeah, we did all that. And we did it intentionally because you were going against the rights of Americans through those programs. And we documented it and we destroyed it and we have no qualms about it. In fact, we'll do more of it because this was a concerted effort to take rights from people. That's if you weren't even involved in this fight. That's what was happening on the periphery of the White House and the Biden administration. Now, before I go into this next one, this next clip is really key to understand because they went down this road of defunding the police, but then incorporating some radical version of LGBTQI. They did these things in an effort to create a problem and then bring the solution to the effort they created in the form of infringement upon your rights. That's the entire point. As we go through this entire scheme of all these videos, the idea and underlying premise is they use crisis to take away your rights as the solution to the problem they created. That's what you have to understand. They do this in all aspects, whether it's abortion, pro-life or pro-choice. They do it in immigration. They do it with gun rights. They do it with free speech. They do it with health care. It's their MO. And the sooner that we connect those things and thread them together, the sooner we defeat them collectively. Now, before I play this clip, make sure you check out our sponsor, Ammo Squared. Imagine yourself being a cute little freedom squirrel in the forest of freedom, wandering around, squirreling away your pennies and your acorns, if only to deposit it in some sort of little bank where you could get freedom seeds dispensed at your leisure or store them for a time when you need them even more so. Think of this as a 401k for your freedom seeds. It's right, there's a Instagram link in the description box below. Check them out. They want to show you what they can offer you because everyone needs a 401k for freedom. All right, guys, thank you to them. Let's jump right into this. This is why you came here. This video right here. Let's freaking go. Josh Hawley, Senator, is about to rip this guy a new one, and I'm here for it.
comprehensive approach is
that law
defunding the
enforcement
police,
is a
which
part
is
of
what
the
this
ecosystem
says.
the entire time.
This is so typical of what the Democrats do now. After your policies have transparently failed and led to the deaths of millions of Americans, now you say you've never heard of defunding the police. Your own report recommends it on page after page after page. Let me ask about something else you say.
All right. This is a really key point that you have to understand. He's talking to the guy who ran the Office of Gun Violence Prevention. So in an effort to attack gun rights, the Office of Gun Violence Prevention was also used to weaponize against police departments nationally. They were defunding the police, creating the problem, and then blaming the gun for the problem so they could take more of your rights. The entire thing was a concerted effort, as I mentioned. This is coming from within the White House about defunding the police. There's a reason that the Republicans are making this midterm election all about crime, because you've seen an exacerbated amount of crime. Not about the tools of criminals, but about enabling the criminals. That's what they have done through the very White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. You have to understand how these things are spliced together. All right, let's keep going. He's about to go down a rabbit hole, which is bizarre, but let's go.
Here's what you say we ought to invest in. Instead of funding the police, here's what we ought to invest in. We need to invest in programs that acknowledge the need for safe space initiatives led by lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender nonconforming people. What's two-spirit?
Well, look, I don't know exactly. You guys are pulling some interesting quotes.
This
here.
is from your report.
If you look at the report,
it's from his report. Now, let me translate out what this means. Safe spaces from an Office of Gun Violence Prevention after defunding the police, they were creating spaces where they would replace police departments with all of these special interest groups with the targeted intention of attacking gun rights and attacking anybody who would dare say policing criminals is bad. And make sure you do all these special buzzwords to really get all of our liberal talking points and virtue signals in there. Two-spirit people, LGBTQ plus QI whatever, transgenders, all about defunding police, so you're going to take money from police into all these special pet projects, and then when everything inevitably turns into a criminal mayhem, you're going to take rights from people. Guys, that's what was happening at the highest levels of the Office of the White House Gun Violence Prevention underneath Kamala Harris. Let's keep going. I'm telling you, we're over the target.
the focus is on investing in violence intervention, outreach workers.
What is you
services.
say that you shouldn't invest in the police, but we ought to invest in two-spirit community programs that acknowledge two-spirit individuals.
We are not going to discriminate
what is that?
We're not going to discriminate against any nonprofit that
what
wants
is
to
a
help us prevent violence in
What
our
is
community.
two-spirit? You say don't fund the police, but do fund programs that create safe spaces for two-spirit people. What is? I just want to know. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is.
Well, I honestly, I'm not completely aware of the language or the
You wrote
spirit
the
of how that was
report?
written. But what I'm telling you is that what is
a two-spirit individual? I mean, really, this is your policymaker's playbook. You are the witness called by the Democrats on this committee, so I assume you reflect their views.
Well,
you don't want to fund the police. You want to fund safe spaces for two-spirit individuals. What is a two-spirit person?
I feel like I'm looking at a two-faced individual because you talk about reducing
Oh, no, sir.
violence.
You're looking at somebody who's
You're
reading
also
you your
speaking out
own
against
words, and I'd like to hear an
violence
answer.
programs.
Here's the answer. The answer is you don't have any solutions. You want to invest in gobbledygook and take away money from police officers who actually keep our communities safe, and when you're called on the record, you deny it.
That's it in a nutshell. That's the whole point. And I'm going to go big for this part because you have to understand what they're doing and why this is so key. They are trying to divert funds from police departments into all these special little projects which focus as non-governmental organizations or NGOs to take gun rights from people. That's how they were doing it. So whether you put gun rights in there, free speech rights, healthcare right, whatever healthcare thing, whatever right you want, whether it's a right or it's not a right, whatever focal point you want, they literally were doing this at the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention under direct purview from the vice president. They were defunding the police and trying to put them in safe spaces per their own reports. This is the whole point. This is why we're winning. Because they go over these insane topics and insane directives because they had full control and all the levers of power at the time. Rights be damned. Let's get our liberal talking points, purity test points in there because we've got to make everyone happy in order to bring the system to a different perspective. That's the entire underlying premise. And I hope I'll land at this plane. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.